Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at Zeraora V. No V Max on this one, just Zeraora V. And this is another super weird one, because this isn't actually a Matchless Fighters, a set we were supposed to be really focusing on today. It's actually coming out in Jet Black Poltergeist, which is one of the Sword and Shield 6 sets over in Japan. Though, like I've made this point a couple of times, it doesn't really matter for our purposes, because both of those sets, Sword and Shield 5A and Sword and Shield 6, are both going to be coming over here as part of Chilling Reign, which is going to be our set that we talked about this week, that we know is going to be releasing on the 18th of June. So, you know, fun times ahead. We weren't expecting to be getting a Zeraora V anytime soon, so how happy are we that it's actually come around? Well, our translation comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet here, as is honestly something I say very often and will probably continue saying because Antoine is awesome. And if we start off having a look at the basics, we got 210 HP, which is about right, honestly, for a Pokemon V. It's not hugely high, it's not hugely low. It's about what we would expect. We've got a retreat cost of 2, which isn't perfect, but it does mean we can use Air Balloon here, which will give us free retreat, which is rather nice. We've got a weakness to fighting, and I'm not loving it. Because you've got kind of a double whammy here. You've got cards like Eternatus, which are weak to fighting, and people are going to want to counter. But then we've got like Urshifu, both of them, the VMAXs that came around in Battle Styles, which are, you know, both of them are looking like they could be really good moving forward. And we know that, but these Battle Styles cards, these single and rapid strike cards, we're going to see more fighting than we usually would. So I'm not loving that weakness, if I'm honest with you. And even being a lightning Pokemon, remember this set's coming out on June the 18th. We're expecting a rotation to be end of August, beginning of September. So I can look at lightning Pokemon now and go, well, good news, I've got Tapu Koko to accelerate energy, and you do. And this can work in a Pikachu and Zekrom deck, and they can accelerate energy, and that's true. But when we hit the rotation, we're losing those cards, and we're losing Raichu and Alolan Raichu. And we're still going to have Boltund V, which is kind of cool and will accelerate energy. And we're still going to have, like, Tapu Koko V and V Max, which could be good cards. But Lightning decks post-rotation are not going to be the powerhouses they've been for the past couple of years, and I think we need to bear that in mind when we're looking at these Lightning decks moving forward. Now, there is only one attack on this, and we don't have a V Max at the moment. I assume if it had a VMAX, we'd see it, because the cards we got shown from Silver Lance were Tornadus V and VMAX, and it would be super weird if they showed us a V and VMAX from one set and just a V from the other set that had a VMAX. That wouldn't really make any sense. So I'm assuming there's no VMAX coming, and this is essentially all we're left with. But what it does for 1 lightning, 2 colorless energy is 100 damage. But if any of your Rapid Strike Pokemon used any attack during your last turn, this attack also does 160 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Oh. Yeah, no, that'll do, Pig. That will do. I'm in. I am 100% in on this. Now, what a lot of you are going to think straight away is, well, hang on a second, that is an awful lot like Pikachu and Zekrom's GX attack. Now, you're only doing 100 to the active, which is a big difference, but honestly, going from 170 down to 160 doesn't make a huge difference. The one Pokemon that you would KO, the one really relevant one with Pikarom that you don't KO with this, is Oricorio GX, but that's going to rotate out anyway. And for what it's worth, the one that you really want to get with 160 to the bench is obviously Dedenne, but that is also going to be rotating out. But you know what's not going to be rotating out? Telescopic Sight. And that is the card you need here. As far as I'm concerned, that is what makes Zeraora amazing. And while we're talking rotation, it is really worth pointing out, Telescopic Sight is going to rotate out in 2022. Zeraora is going to rotate out in 2023, so we are actually going to have a year where we don't have them as a pair, but that's a long time away. Let's not worry about it now. The thing is, Telescopic Sight lets you do an extra 30 to bench GXs and Vs. So now you're not doing 160, you're doing 190, which is way better than Pikachu and Zekrom. Bearing in mind that was a once per game GX attack, although again, they did a lot more to the active. You can KO a little support Pokemon, they could KO a Pokemon V, that's a big difference. But by the time we're hitting 160 to the bench, that's Crobat. Crobat is absolutely going down here, and everyone's going to be playing Crobat because it's going to be our option for drawing cards in the early game. Maybe your opponent's playing an Eldegoss to get a supporter card back into their hand. Well, this is going to take out Eldegoss as well. Maybe your opponent's playing that new Kricketune card from Battle Styles. That's the one that lets you draw 2, got 3 cards in hand, or if it's active until you got 4. That's going to be another card that sees a whole bunch of play, and that's got 180 HP, so that's going to go down as well. Those 2 prize support Pokemon V, and I've just given you 3, which I expect to see a bunch of play post-rotation, they will all be KO'd here. That is why this attack on Zeraora is so gosh darn good. You are getting a KO on them while doing 100 to the active. Now, honestly, the 100 to the active, that is what worries me with Zeraora. That's where my trepidation comes in. Because it's not really enough to KO very much. You'll get these support Pokemon, things like Galarian Zigzagoon. You'll get Evolving Basics. But again, you're talking about an attack that has to be used after another one, so it's not exactly like this is going to be a super early game attack all the time. A lot of the time, you won't get Evolving Basics because they won't be out on the field. They'll already have evolved. Outside of that, I'm not entirely sure how much stuff you're really going to be getting, because 100 just isn't really a key number. You've generally got kind of like your 70, 80 odd down there, and then you get up to your 120, 130. If we still had Electro Power, and that would allow you to do an extra 30 to the active, yes, but we don't, so that's kind of irrelevant. But I don't really care. Essentially, the damage that you do to the active Pokemon, I see as a yay, handy bonus. And there will be times you get a KO with this, and that's wonderful. But I do see it as a handy bonus and nothing more. When I'm looking at Zeraora, I am focusing in on the residual damage. I am focusing in on this 160 to the bench. And to be fair, 160 will get pretty much any single prize Pokemon. But really, I'm looking at Telescopic Sight and KOing one of these 2 prize support Pokemon on the bench. As far as I'm concerned, that's what I'm doing with Zeraora. And I adore this. Now, as for the free energy, remember this is a Rapid Strike Pokemon, which means you can use Rapid Strike energy. And I know I'm not the first person to point this out, but remember Empoleon V's attack, and Empoleon V blocks abilities of non-rule box basic Pokemon. So Empoleon V's attack moves an energy over, so what you could do here is sit there with Empoleon, blocking abilities, and then you attack, move an energy back to Zeraora, and then you can go ahead and take a hit. Bearing in mind, Empoleon hits 130, so essentially you hit for 130 with Empoleon while blocking abilities, move the Rapid Strike energy to your bench Zeraora, and then hit 100 to the active, and the vast majority of Pokemon Vs have less than 230, so they'll be KO'd, and you're KOing a bench support Pokemon. I love this with Empoleon, because I don't think Empoleon's attack is good enough. I just don't. 130 and moving an energy, and it does let you move a special or basic. I don't think Empoleon V is good enough. But I think if you can attack with Empoleon V and then bring in Zeraora, you are rolling. Obviously, if you're also hitting for weakness, then yes, Zeraora becomes a whole bunch better, but there's not a huge amount that relevant that's weak to lightning at the moment. And to be fair, even if it is, you're talking stuff like Inteleon, your 100 damage, doubled with weakness, will go up to 200, and Inteleon V does have 200. So you will get Inteleon V. It's one of the weaker Vs out there. Most have 210, 220. So that's alright, that's good. And against an Inteleon V deck, obviously you're going to be rolling. But the fact that you can come along and hit the bench here and take KOs on those Pokemon is huge. It's not that you're attacking the bench, it's that you're KOing an Eldegoss, a Crobat, a Kricketune without boss's orders. Which firstly means you don't go and have to find boss's orders, and secondly means you don't need to waste it. You can save it for later in the game, and you can use it at a different time, and that's a very, very good thing indeed. If you are just trying to pay it normally, well, you've got Rapid Strike Energy, which won't pay Lightning, but it will pay the 2 colorless, so you're fine. And then an energy switch from one of your other Pokemon, a Turbo Patch. You need to get 1 Lightning Energy on there, but energy switch and Turbo Patch are decent options. Pre-rotation, you have got Tapu Koko Prism Star. Pre-rotation, it's amazing, because you just dump Lightning Energy in the discard, and then you just Tapu Koko, Rapid Strike, boom, off you go. But like I've said, this is going to be coming out shortly before that rotates. In Japan, they've actually already lost Tapu Koko Prism Star. They have a very, very slightly different rotation. They're losing a few random cards, or they've lost them. Tapu Koko Prism Star is one of them, but we've got enough ways to pay the energy cost here, and I haven't spent much time talking about what Rapid Strike deck to play this in, because it doesn't matter. Any of them. You need Telescopic Sight to really hit the numbers, but that's a card that exists. I expect this to be a great card. I'm giving it 4 Wassies, and honestly, I think I'm being a bit misery. I think it's probably a little bit better than that. Apparently, I'm scoring cards a bit too low today. Point is, great attack, should get a bonus 2 prize KO on the bench while doing damage to the active, and that, to me, sounds like a pretty gosh darn good thing indeed. But I'd like to know how it sounds to you. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.